Have you ever stepped into a location and immediately felt compelled to leave? Not because of how it seemed or smelled, but because of something deeper, something unseen. Chosen ones frequently have an unexplained instinct, a spiritual radar, if you will, that directs them away from locations where their energy is not intended to be. It is not about fear. It is not about reasoning. It's a soul level. Knowing certain areas may appear commonplace to others, but to the selected, they just do not feel right. In most cases, people depart without explaining why. This film will show you 8 strong sites. Chosen ones avoid intuitively, not out of superstition, but because they have a strong intuitive feeling that their spirit must be preserved. If you've been feeling different, like you've been directed, warmed, or prodded in mysterious ways, you're at the correct place. If you have received this message at the right point in your trip, enter 1111 in the comments to get divine blessings. Also, do not forget to subscribe. This channel is a safe haven for spiritual fighters, seekers, and awakened souls. Let we begin. Nature has picked congested, chaotic locations with no greater purpose that are extremely sensitive to the energy surrounding them. Unlike other individuals who can blend into a crowd or forget themselves in noisy situations, chosen ones frequently feel overwhelmed or spiritually suffocated in areas with no deeper significance or spiritual harmony. Wild parties, hectic nightclubs, overcrowded retail malls, and even noisy sports venues may make them seem as if a director has added other sensations to their experience. They don't despise people or reject the notion of socializing. Quite the reverse. Many chosen ones are extremely compassionate, innately kind, and capable of tremendous connection. However, their neurological systems are frequently tuned to subtleties that others overlook, such as undercurrents of dread, restlessness, worry, or even hidden pain. In these chaotic environments, spiritual static is so loud that it drowns out the subtle whispers of their inner voice, intuition, and connection to higher awareness. Others may see these surroundings as entertaining, exhilarating, or invigorating. The chosen one frequently perceives them as confusing. Even when they attempt to interact, something within resists an unshakable sense that they are out of harmony. They may appear out of courtesy or curiosity, but they usually find an excuse to depart early. It is not about being antisocial, uncomfortable, or shy. It is about safeguarding their energy field. Chosen ones flourish in environments that allow their spirits to grow, where stillness and depth are valued, and honesty takes precedence over performance. They require environments in which their energy may breathe without being overwhelmed. To hospitals and medical institutes without any personal motivation. Hospitals are vital institutions of healing and care, but they also have a heavy, energetic environment that many spiritually attuned people, particularly chosen ones, find difficult to tolerate. Walking through the corridors of a hospital might feel like entering a dense fog of shared dread, sadness, anxiety, and emotional trauma. These are locations where life and death touch on a daily basis, where screams of anguish resound through the walls, and where countless spirits linger between realms. Chosen ones are very empathetic and frequently pick up on this silent spiritual residue. They may feel exhausted, disoriented, or emotionally weighty without realizing why. Even when there is little outward sadness around them, their intuition can pick up on the tiny imprints left by people who have suffered or died. It's not that they oppose modern medicine or the idea of healing. In truth, many people strongly believe in holistic, energetic, and preventative well-being, yet they naturally gravitate towards environments that encourage balance and harmony. Nature, sacred spaces, and health facilities that focus on energy alignment and natural healing are all examples. They frequently see health as more than merely the absence of sickness, but as a condition of spiritual, mental, and physical harmony. Unless they are visiting for a personal cause, such as to assist a loved one or to get treatment themselves, chosen ones normally avoid hospitals and other comparable facilities. The Spirit suggests that there are more harmonious methods to be well, ones that nurture both the spirit and the body. Their avoidance is not based on fear. It is grounded upon judgment. 3. Cemeteries and graveyards. Cemeteries are, by definition, locations of great spiritual significance. While society classifies them as tranquil and respectful places to remember the deceased, chosen ones frequently have a deeper, more complex reaction. Graveyards, to them, are more than just silent places. They are dense energy fields containing spiritual residue, echoes of past lifetimes, and, in some circumstances, unregistered souls. Chosen ones are frequently inextricably linked to the spirit realm, their ancestors, and the unseen world. However, this relationship does not imply that they are drawn to locations of death. Indeed, their spiritual sensitivity causes them to experience the emotional weight of such settings more acutely. Walking through a graveyard might feel like passing through layers of loss, unfinished stories, or old pain. Fear is not what keeps people away. It's a reverent and enthusiastic regard. They understand that these are hallowed grounds, not areas for lingering or casual presence. They may pay visits when needed, such as at funerals, memorial rites, or to pay tribute to deceased loved ones. However, once the act of honoring is over, they usually leave. Their soul immediately understands that, while death is a normal passage, these grounds are not places where the living should stay for long. Instead, selected ones prefer to connect with their ancestors through prayer, meditation, dreams, or spiritual rites, rather than standing amid headstones. Their link to the hereafter extends beyond physical sites for them. Real presence does not necessitate closeness. It demands intent. In gossip-filled workplaces, gossip may appear to be innocuous talk or idle amusement, yet many selected ones perceive it very differently. For individuals who are spiritually sensitive, words are more than simply sounds. They are places full of energy, intention, and vibration, as well as gossip. They emanate judgment, dishonesty, and hostility on a regular basis, whether in the office, break room, family gathering, or online group chats. Chosen ones are very uncomfortable in these environments. When the discourse goes from substantive discussion to backbiting, slander, or idle conjecture about others, their internal alarm sounds off. They sense a spiritual fog sneaking in, a type of energy pollution that obscures clear thought and disturbs. In a composition dedicated to the selected one, participating in gossip is not only ethically dubious, but also spiritually destructive. Even being a passive listener may seem like a violation of their principles. Gossip is harmful to more than simply the individual being spoken about. It also contaminates the speaker and listener. It reduces the overall vibration of the environment and encourages additional toxins. The chosen ones are guided by a feeling of honesty and integrity. When they find themselves in a situation that encourages falsehoods, assumptions, or character assassination, they gently leave, not because they are superior to others, but because their soul refuses to partake in lying. They recognize that following the truth frequently requires journeying alone. They would rather sit quietly than be a member of a throng that achieves power by dragging others down. The item is too important and their soul too intelligent to be tainted by low vibrational conversation. 5. Certain religious structures, chosen ones, are frequently extremely spiritual persons who are driven not by theory, but by direct inner experience and divine intuition. While some may believe that all spiritual people feel at ease in churches, mosques, temples, or synagogues, the reality is significantly more varied. Chosen ones might feel as alienated in a holy structure as they would in a retail mall. If the environment lacks a true spiritual presence, the avoidance is not due to religion. It is the energy of the space. Some buildings of worship, while designed for religious purposes, may be mired in judgment, dogma, or performance. The selected one seems limited rather than exalted. Instead of communion, they experience control. When a structure becomes more about ritual than revelation, more about fear than faith, people notice right away. They recognize when the supernatural is absent and their soul refuses to pretend, to sense God's presence. Chosen ones do not require complex ceremonies or magnificent altars. They sensed it in the morning, a child's laughter, the silence of meditation, and the stillness of the forest. When individuals enter a religious establishment, they are not seeking for regulations. They are seeking for resonance. If they don't feel it, they leave, not in disobedience, but out of devotion to the divine frequency in which they have come to believe. They recognize that true worship does not require barriers, and while they value all earnest seekers, they will never sacrifice authenticity for acceptability. The church is where the spirit lives, wherever that may be. 6 sites of prior trauma. The selected ones and certain locales are more than simply physical areas. They are energy imprints, live memories embedded in the surroundings. These areas are frequently associated with deeper emotional or spiritual trauma, which can elicit a strong reaction even in the absence of conscious remembrance. It may be a childhood home riddled with emotional mistreatment, a school where they were misunderstood, a city where everything crumbled, or perhaps a random street where something awful happened. These rooms hold more than memories. They carry echoes. Even when everything appears to be unaltered, the energy remains like a ghost. The spiritual is sensitive. They can sense a heaviness in their chest, tension in their body, or a subtle desire to run. Even if the intellect tries to forget, the soul remembers the battlefield. Chosen ones frequently carry ancestral and karmic scars in addition to personal ones. They have a profound understanding that some areas signify chapters. They have already closed and they have learned their lessons. And while society may urge confronting the past or returning to make peace, the chosen one understands that genuine healing does not necessarily entail returning to the scene of the sorrow. In many circumstances, it means deciding not to return. It entails appreciating how far they've gone and acknowledging that their soul has outgrown the area that formerly kept them captive. Avoiding these areas does not indicate weakness. It is wisdom. It's the soul saying, "We've finished our work here. Let us not rekindle wounds only to prove that we have healed. Let us move forward." Free. 7 retail locations during the sales frenzy or Black Friday. For the typical individual, Black Friday and clearance pandemonium are exciting. But to a selected one, these places resemble energetic combat zones. There's a spiritual gravity in places fueled by despair, greed, and impulse. The race for bargains, the hunger for material wealth. Everything screams detachment. The chosen one sends this instantly. The neurological system tightens, intuition heats up, and the soul begs them to retreat. These occurrences not only drain your energy, but also diminish your frequency. A selected one does not pursue the illusion of more. They look for what is compatible. If they must shop, They do so calmly rather than in a frenzy. They choose quality over quantity, purpose over impulsivity, and serenity over turmoil. Simplicity is sacred to them, and they would prefer with the same items for years than sell their item at a bargain. 8 dwellings or structures that seem weird for no apparent reason. Energy does not lie, and the chosen ones sense it immediately. On the surface, a property might appear to be perfect, clean, well decorated, and even friendly. But if the frequency is wrong, they can feel it in their bones. Perhaps there was trauma in that region. Toxic energy was left behind, or simply an unnatural coolness hanging in the air. The chosen ones do not need to explain it logically. They just know they left parties early, shortened sleepovers, or canceled appointments because something in the situation seemed spiritually amiss. It's not fear, it's discernment. They rely on their gut feelings like a compass. They value peace more than civility. They do not quarrel with energy that seems incorrect. They simply walked away. There's no drama, only alignment. A chosen one's path is not always clear, even to themselves. However, the soul understands that intuition, energy, and divine timing lead one's life rather than charts or reasoning. It's not unusual to shun specific locales for no apparent reason. That is wisdom. You are being protected. Trust that direction, even if you can't articulate it. This is the Bloom Channel. If this message spoke to your soul today, type 1111 in the comments to claim your divine blessing and let the universe know you're listening. And remember that you're not alone on this journey. Subscribe to join a community of awakened spirits. We are on this journey together. One understands the concept of step at a time. Until next time, protect your energy, follow your instincts, and keep rising. Thank you for watching.